How y'all doing, Ralph here? The cool thing about being Filipino in the Air Force is no matter where you go, you will meet other Filipinos. And once you meet them, you'll be greeted with open arms. It doesn't matter if you speak Tagalog or not. I know there's some dissonance between Filipinos that speak Tagalog and the Filipinos that don't. In the Air Force, if you're Filipino, you're Filipino. It doesn't matter. Another cool thing is right away they invite you to their gatherings. Say they play basketball every Friday at a certain time. It gives you somewhere to go, especially when we brand new to the base. Or they'll invite you to parties. As we all know, Filipinos love to make an excuse to have a fiesta, a party. You're not gonna miss Filipino food because everywhere you go, you're gonna get it. It's pretty common for Filipinos to speak multiple dialects. And that's an advantage because, say, a person that's not Filipino married a Filipina and they learn the language, most likely Tagalog. We can switch up our dialects. That way, that person can eavesdrop on our conversation. I grew up with Ilocano. And when I meet fellow Ilocanos, we'll switch it up to that dialect so that the person cannot understand what we're trying to say. It gets pretty funny at times. Another advantage of being Filipino and hanging out with a bunch of other Filipinos is we all have different AFSCs. We all have different jobs. And during inspection, say one of your fellow Pinoys is the one inspecting you. Your inspections cruise after that because you're comfortable. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the best you can with your inspection and making sure you're respecting his authority. But at the same time, you feel relaxed because you have that connection. Another thing is you can blend in with almost any country. I've experienced where I was past curfew in Korea. I don't recommend you do it, but I was past curfew in Korea and hanging out with my Filipino buddies that were factory workers. And the security forces just passed us by. The Koreans would try to talk to me in Hangul, and I'm like, no, I don't speak Hangul, Korean. In Japan, same thing. They talk to me in their mother tongue too, and I'm like, no, I don't speak Japanese. And in the Middle East, it was pretty interesting because they had TCNs, third country nationals, that were serving our food in the chow halls. And one of them said, hey, are you Filipino? I'm like, yeah. So they all started talking to me in Tagalog. And what was cool about that was every time they saw me get in line, they always asked me if, hey, you want an extra piece of steak, you want this, or you want extra of that? And I'd either say yes or no, depending on how I felt that day. But the guy behind me would try to ask for extra, and the Pakistanis were like, no. So it's pretty interesting, the dynamics that you get into just because you're Filipino. Some of the cons of being Filipino in the Air Force is if your wife or your girlfriend is Filipino, a lot of them will automatically think they used to be a juicy girl, buy me drinky girl from the club. And nothing wrong with that. It's just an assumption, but I know friends that married those kind of girls and they're still married to this day. Another con might be if you're not in uniform and you tell people that you're in the military, they automatically assume that you're in the Navy. It's just because the Navy Mafia is so popular. That's pretty much the cons I can think of with my experience in the Air Force. and it's really not that bad, except the assumption of your girlfriend or your wife coming from that kind of background. If you want to add or ask anything, make sure you comment down below. Thanks for watching. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.